Alright.
French is laughing. Start again.
Alright.
What does that mean?
It's natural. Oh god.
You ready?
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Alright. Happy New Year to all. French, calm yourself please. Happy New Year to all. We're back again. It's season 2. It's fully booked. Myself, Mace.
Myself, French.
And myself, Pox.
We really hope you enjoyed season 1. It was attached. It was about attachment styles and relationships. Amazing feedback. The guys in the studio here, we loved reading the book thoroughly. Taking some tips on our own personal lives. I know a lot of people that I know outside of the podcast environment, they really took it on board as well. So much so that if I had to tell a couple people, look, I'm not Buddy Love or Professor Clump or what's the other one that my man starred in? With Will Smith. What's that one there? Hitch. What's his name?
Yeah.
I'm none of them. I just got the same info like you from the book, and that's how much power the book had. So because it's a new year, we said, what can we read next? We had some ideas, we had some visions, we had some people kind of message us on the private ones and say, what about this? And we thought, well, new year, what do people normally want to get into? It's normally year of change. They want to do this, healthy eating, gym. So we thought, okay, let's read a book that kind of incorporates that type of feeling, that type of ethos, them type of ideas. So we kind of narrowed it down to a couple of books, and then we decided to go for a book called How Not to Die, which is authored by Michael, I don't know how to pronounce his name wrong, Michael Greger. And I think Gene Stone is also co-author.
Yeah,
Is that right?
Yeah.
And yeah, we've just been reading, plowing through. You might have seen on our Instagrams, we put up kind of quotes from the book as we've been reading through, which has kind of highlighted some things I didn't know, some amazing facts that I didn't know about certain foods and certain things which cause certain diseases. And today we're really going to go a bit more in depth into that in the first half. I think we've read about first half of the book.
Yeah, it's chapter 1. It's basically the book's in 2 chapters. We've done chapter 1.
We've done part 1. Okay. So with all that being said, French, Pox, I'll hand over the mantle to you guys.
Yeah, well, let's just dive into the introduction. The first part being preventing, arresting and reversing our leading killers. Now from the page 1 it says, from a study of more than 42,000 consecutive autopsies, centenarians, those who live past 100, were found to have succumbed to diseases in 100% of the cases examined. So, which made me want to pose the question of, so what is dying of natural causes?
Oh, so in that study they said that in this book, the people that live to 100, they all die from something this book's gonna mention in the chapters. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it says 100% of cases they die from a disease. So
okay, I've got you.
I don't think this book covers every single disease.
Yeah, I've got you.
In regards to a natural disease, 100% of the cases, anyone that's lived past 100, has died from it. So when people say he died of natural causes, what is a natural cause then?
P, me, you.
I'll dive in straight away, kind of thing. I thought it was a great question. Obviously, we kind of like ran over 1 or 2 bits and pieces before. Dying of natural causes, again, obviously that can be construed as many things. Obviously, one of them you mentioned before. Some of the facts are most people who die over the age of 100, more often than not, have or harboured obviously those diseases. I would have thought dying of natural causes would have been a case of I don't say like anything really, but obviously as you get older your heart rate obviously slows down and stuff like that. And I can only assume, certainly my thought on dying of natural causes prior to your question actually would have been a case of your heart rate obviously slowing down to the point where unfortunately obviously you pass away. But I mean, obviously based on reading the book, a lot of people who tend to pass away more often than not have had those diseases, whether they would have known it or not. They have had those diseases. Whether they would have passed the diseases, I'm not too sure, but they certainly had them.
Yeah.
Would you want to live to 100? Was that the second part of your question?
Yeah, I was going to ask that after. But,
apologies. I thought you already asked.
Sneak preview.
Yeah, I was going to ask, would you want to live past 100? But
do you want me to answer that now, or do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, Mace has put it out there, so let's just run with it.
Some people would say no, and I think the reason why people would say no is because they don't want to get to the age where unfortunately they're unable to actually do things as such. But me personally, I want to live as long as possible.
Yeah.
Like everybody, obviously there's things that you want to go out and achieve and stuff like that, and I think I want to be given the most the most and the maximum amount of time possible to achieve those things, but at the same time to enjoy life. And I'm sure by eating plant-based foods that can happen.
I like the emphasis.
Plug. Oh gosh.
What about you, mate?
Alright, so you mentioned two. Well, you mentioned one and I put one up. Living to 100. So there's a couple of things. I think life should be cherished first and foremost, and make the most. Live your life. I was listening to one of them tunes. I was listening to a tune the other day, and it said something like, "You only get one life." Well, it depends, obviously, what your beliefs are, but yeah, you only get one life in this kind of world, and you got to make the most of it, innit? And I believe in that. Would I like to live to 100? I think it depends. There's some factors. It depends. Am I living to 100 in absolute agony and pain every day? Do you get right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, that depends. I mean, if we eat a plant-based food diet, you can live past 100 and
plug,
and you can have an active life. Apparently.
Yeah, soon to be seen. Or not soon, but yeah.
Yeah, one day.
But sorry. Yeah, so I don't think say I'm living to 100 and I've got no friends or family around me. It's quite lonely, right?
You'd assume so.
You'd assume so. You'd assume so, possibly. It depends. I'd say yes, because life is to be cherished and life ain't to be taken lightly, and life is to be kind of like you should be blessed.
Yeah,
I'm saying you should feel blessed to be alive.
Yeah.
So yes, overall, but it depends on the circumstances I go with it. I don't want to be living to 100 to be in pain every single day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course not.
And the other thing with what's the question?
What is the actual first question?
Sorry.
So what is dying of natural causes?
Dying of natural causes. Alright. To me, the only thing that springs to mind when someone says dying of natural causes is when someone dies in their sleep. But then what is it you've died from? Is it that your heart's just given up? And it's like, is it that a natural cause or a natural occurrence of when we get old, our heart will slow down and then eventually will die? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I actually can't answer what is dying of natural causes, because I think the reason they give it that title is because they can't answer it. Like your people, your medical professionals who are like natural causes, because they can't actually put their finger on how someone dies. It's just like, oh, they've got to 105. You're expected to die at that age. Yeah. The good thing about this book, hopefully, is that we'll go into a little bit of that as well.
So who's those people?
People that do when someone dies. Who's the people then that have to determine how someone died? The people that do the autopsy and that.
Yeah.
What do they call them?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, them kind of people there.
Okay. Them man.
Yeah. Alright, yeah, no, I mean, I was going to say the same thing in regards to what I consider dying of a natural cause. I would have just assumed it was when you die in your sleep, but then you may have heart failure, which can be attributed to a heart disease. So we don't know is the answer to that, really. What is dying of a natural cause? If anyone does know, please let us know, because
see, like, it's interesting because I didn't necessarily want to bring this up in here, but obviously I know someone who's recently passed away and actually had a heart attack, and some of the things that came out was this individual in particular was very, very fit. Very, very fit, and you wouldn't expect it of this person. You wouldn't expect it at all. The person in trim and in fantastic shape, and the person's had a heart attack. But obviously, based on some of the stuff obviously we've read over the past, dare I say, week or so with the book, you have no idea what the person was, what type of illnesses. I'm not saying the person was ill, but what type of illnesses that person had that weren't actually diagnosed. But like, kind of like touching on the question before, my thoughts were, certainly on my way here, I was thinking, I sat down to myself and I thought about this for a while, is my I haven't been as physically active obviously as I would have liked to over the past 12 months, dare I say, and my weight, I'm not a fatso, but my weight has kind of my weight has fluctuated, and I've got a bit of a sweet tooth, and we'll kind of go into that in just a moment.
Yeah,
my
if intention you can see what we're eating right now,
it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. But I'm very, very keen on actually improving my health in terms of eating. The reason why I say so is because I know as I kind of like go through into my 30s and obviously into my 40s as such, my activeness may decrease, which is not actually what I want, but sometimes these are just facts of life. And obviously I want to keep myself in nice, trim shape, and obviously coming from a sports background, I want to remain healthy, you know what I'm saying? And I want to look good, actually. That's really, really important to me.
Vain.
Yeah, no, I want to look good. So...
pose on the gram.
Why not? No. So this new, dare I say, adopted lifestyle is something that I've taken a little bit of intrigue into.
That's a good way that we've kicked to the podcast, because just from the book itself, How Not to Die, and I'm sorry guys, I haven't got the page number, I know it's from the introduction, there's a little segment which says most deaths are preventable and they're related to what we actually eat. So our diet is the #1 cause of premature death and #1 cause of disability. So surely you think diet must also be the #1 thing taught in medical schools.
Yeah, picking up from that point, I did find another part in the same introduction where it goes on to say, one study found that people off the street sometimes know more about basic nutrition than their doctors, concluding physicians should be more knowledgeable about nutrition than their patients. But these results suggest this is not necessarily true, which made me feel, because I won't answer the question first, but I'll put it out. But do you trust your own doctor's advice?
I am one of these people, and I had this conversation. I was speaking to a friend actually the other day, and my friend said to me, because I said I've had a chesty cough and like a sore throat in the last 4 or 5 days, and they said, why do you go to the doctors? And I said, I'm one of these people, literally, unless I'm dying, I'm not going to them places. And the reason being, because it's going to sound harsh, but it's like they always want to find something wrong with you, like, and prescribe you something. And I said, unless I'm dying, I really do believe in natural. Like, I'm one of these people. I really think, in my head, I'm like, but how would people have survived from this 200 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I start thinking. That's how I start thinking. I'm like, look, I've been here before. I will naturally recover. My body probably needs some rest. My body needs certain nutrients and vitamins, certain foods. And even if I didn't get that, it would just delay my recovery by 2, 3, 4 days. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I said, no, I'm not going to the doctor, because I'm going to go in there. I'll go into one group of sick people anyway. And then like your doctor's telling you, yeah, this is wrong with you. You need to take this. And it's just, and you have to hang around. I don't like them I don't like hospitals. I don't like doctor surgery. Unless I'm dying, I'm not going. And whether it's a trust me with my doctor, it's not necessarily a trust thing. I just feel like they're in a profession where they're paid. They're in a profession where they can prescribe you drugs which you have to pay for, which almost keeps the medical, in my opinion, keeps the medical industry going.
Of course it does.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of in their
favour.
Best interest. I don't know, because I want to think truly.
It's in their favour, not in their best
Yeah,
interest.
if I'm like, not that anyone's scared. I think like the medical industry is one big Ponzi scheme. It's one big joke. I mean, obviously, again, I know I may have mentioned this on previous episodes, but like I don't want to say this. I'm not really trusting of some of the how would I even say? They're not schemes. Some of the industries, obviously, that we have in this country. So whether it's the health industry, whether it's the educational industry, and stuff like that. So some of the stuff that I've read in this book do not surprise me in any way, shape, or form, kind of thing. I mean, I don't know if I cut you up, but I know you mentioned 1 or 2 bits and pieces in regards to going to the doctors. Myself, I mean, I've always, dare I say, maybe believed in going to the doctors and stuff like that, because I think if there's something that can be treated, I'd rather know of the problem beforehand than in a situation, obviously, where it's too late, where a lot of these people are found out after the fact, if that makes any sense. And obviously I know there's 1 or 2 bits and bobs that will kind of like raise, obviously, a little bit further. And I think there was something else you mentioning, what do people do before going to the doctors? I think we were living in a time before, and some people still live in a time where people are a lot more herbal. And I know obviously our life expectancies increased, but before then people were herbal, which is some of the stuff, oddly enough, that we're coming to today, if that makes any sense.
It's coming
Full
around
circle.
Yeah. So like it's really I think it's kind of really weird. I mean, I don't want to jump in straight away, because I know we've got
we've got a lot to get into.
a lot to get through.
Do you know what? That's where me and you is different, because if I'm still functioning, I prefer. Say today, if I'm feeling fine, alright, tell me if I'm wrong, but you seem like the type of person, you'll have a regular checkup. Let me make sure everything's functioning right. Even if you're feeling alright, I'm gonna have a regular checkup just to check up.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes.
I'm the type of person, everything's functioning fine, I have no reason to go.
I'm like that as well.
I don't want you to tell me something's not right with me when I feel okay.
Yeah.
You're going to dampen my year, dampen my week, my day, my month.
But then there are, again, it's going to go into it. There's a couple parts of the book where it is suggestible to have certain things checked. I won't mention it because we'll go into it anyways. But I'm very much in the same boat in terms of I don't really like going to the doctors if I don't have to.
So, like, in regards, oddly enough, because I've had braces obviously as a kid, I actually know how to go to the dentist.
Yo,
Does that make sense?
Braces in your 20s, don't lie, brother.
Yeah, no, I'm saying,
I just tried to throw that under the bus.
That don't even bother me, but I'm saying, like, but it doesn't make sense. I know how to go to the dentist and I know the processes. But whereas going with the doctors, how do I know about getting my I don't know. I obviously know we're going to get to this. I actually don't know. Alright, so but I've been to the doctor a few times and they told me X, Y, Z, so on and so forth. And there's been times when there's one time a doctor rang me and rang me? Or no, I forget when the doctor rang me. No, I was going travelling. And then they put up your records and they're like, oh, you need to take this today. And I was like, nah, we're not. And I was like, nah, we ain't doing this today. But I knew I had to take it, but I was vexed because I don't like no injections. And it was a serious one. I said, nah, we ain't doing this today because I've got to go for a run. And if I go for a run, my arm's going to hurt and you're just messing up my whole day. Alright? But obviously, I took the injection, etc., in the end because I say she was trusting. I was entrusting in her, and obviously I took the injection. But I know people who would say they are not taking injections, all that type of stuff. And my question, I've got a couple questions. I don't know if I want to pose them now. I'll pose them now. We probably answer them a little bit.
Related to the whole doctor thing. If you trust your doctor.
Kind of. So I don't know if we want to talk about it now or talk about like just pose the question a little bit and then like come to it a little bit later. In regards to like. When did the whole we need to take vaccinations and all this stuff come in?
That's a whole next topic. Bro.
Yeah, that's a whole different.
No, but it's kind of in here. But I mean, like, I know what you mean. I don't know when all this. I don't know because I know a guy. I don't know. Sorry, when I was traveling, all right. Obviously, in South America, like you got to take these vaccinations. You got to take these tablets. The guy was like, I'm not taking nothing. This guy was from New Zealand, so it don't even surprise me. He was one of them like Andean, like I don't want to say Aborigines, so I don't want to come back and say it wrong. But he was like,
that is Australia.
but he was like, I don't take no injections. I don't do this. I don't do that. I'm thinking, how are you here? Like in my mind, I'm thinking, how are you here? Or how does this work? Because I'm assuming like you must have something in your body that rejects this and that. Yeah, you are. Sounds a bit like ignorant, but maybe rejects it, or dare I say some of these antioxidants and so on and so forth that we're going to come to. But anyway, let's leave it like that because we'll come to some of this stuff a little bit later.
Back in 1903, this is on page 2, by the way.
Okay, so we're still part of the introduction.
Yeah, this is all this introduction. I'll let you know when we're getting the chapter 1 part. Thomas Edison predicted that the doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will instruct his patient in the care of the human frame in diet and in the cause of prevention of diseases. Well, we're not quite there yet, but we're on the way, I think.
We are, because there's a wealth of knowledge out there now.
Exactly.
That we can easily access ourselves.
But moving on from that, global spending for prescription drugs is surpassing 0.5 trillion annually, with the US accounting for about a third of this on the market. Why do you think we spend so much on pills?
Why do we spend so much on pills?
Like as a human population.
And because we're a quick fix world or nation. You know what I mean? People were expecting Harry Houdini to just fix things like that. And I just think we've come from a time where I just think it's really, really interesting, where I think once upon a time it was really expensive to have and buy meats and eat meats, where it's gone full circle, where the veggies were cheap and now all of a sudden the veggies are mad expensive. That's because now people now have the knowledge that eating veggies and stuff like that can obviously assist you in terms of your health and so on and so forth. Apologies. What was your question? Because I'm
why do we spend so much on pills?
And people don't. Yeah, again, obviously people quick fix, but at the same time, people don't necessarily like veggies and stuff like that. And also, I don't want to say the industry, but those with the knowledge are not necessarily imparting their knowledge in regards to why vegetables are really, really important and stuff like that. And it don't really sit well with me, if I'm honest. But Yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Cool.
I took your question to mean like when you say pills, in my head I'm thinking of emphysema and colds and stuff. Yeah,
All of that. Yeah.
And what I'm thinking is, we actually have no choice in that if you do go to the doctor and you do, as P said, you do want a quick fix. They're going to prescribe you to go to your local pharmacy.
But you don't have to.
You don't have to, but if your doctor who's who's medically qualified, inverted, tells you go and spend £12 and you'll be fine, ready for work Friday morning. Yeah. You're like, yeah, let me go and do it.
Yeah, of course.
Then it's like, so you've got that, and then you've also got with the right. It's a slightly off topic, but I'm one of these people that I think a lot of diseases are not a lot of diseases, but I think some diseases are purposely put out there as well.
Yeah. Man-made diseases.
Yeah. Because it's, as you said, it's a $0.5 trillion industry. There's money to be made.
Of course.
A lot of companies would go out of business if we weren't buying these pills.
Yeah.
So I also think that's the reason as well, that you find a lot of people get ill from certain illnesses, and these vaccinations and so on are needed much more, and natural kind of herbal remedies are not promoted as much.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
Sorry, can I just touch on that? There was something I don't know why. Either I didn't take the note or I just can't find it within my notes. There was something on the subject of beetroots, and I think what the author went on to say is that, well, you can't put a patent if that's you can't put a patent on beetroot.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I mean, beetroot you can get for 50p to £1.
You can grow it.
You can you can get seeds. You can grow your own. Whereas obviously these drugs, I mean, I don't even want to go into. I think it's a $10 billion industry. I think per year. I think I might have read or I might
more
have...
than that. It's saying that we spend 0.5 trillion annually.
Sorry, then there's
and that's just. Do you know what I mean?
There you go. So beetroot I can grow in my garden, whereas obviously you can monetize some of these mad names they put on these drugs to make them sound intelligent. And they do abracadabra.
Sound like prison numbers.
I know. There you go. Anyway.
Yeah. The pandemic of chronic disease has been ascribed in part of the near to universal shift towards a diet dominated by animal source and processed foods. In other words, more meat and dairy, eggs, oil, fizzy drinks, sugar and refined grains. Now, thinking from that, what influences cause us to have a diet dominated by animal sourced and processed foods?
There's a number of things, man.
I think, for me, it boils down to money when it comes to processed foods, because processed foods is just, it's almost like it's not real. It's to make a profit.
Yeah, there's a number of things. Money, there's advertising commercials.
But where did we start? I think like domesticating animals to eat. At what point do we go from eating the land, like everything that we need is from the land? So that nuts, seeds, flowers, and all greens that we would eat. When did it start turning to a point where we're gonna start eating all these animals? Do you know what I mean? Like, at what point did that change?
I don't know if I've touched on this before. I just feel obviously we've come from an age where I'll say the working class were predominantly eating veggies and all that type of stuff, and those from a more higher class background obviously having the meats, etc., etc. And I just believe the knowledge at some point was gained as to these are kind of bad for you or are a detriment to your health. And these are bad for you and a detriment to your health. And then obviously those of the working class, you aspire to have obviously what those of a better pedigree are kind of eating. So, and because obviously sometimes we lack the knowledge, we've gone on, we've had those foods, and it's very, very difficult to come out of that process. Yeah, that's just my thoughts on it.
Anyway. Yeah, and I get that.
The other thing, it's a quick fix. Like, if you go out on the high street, where we are now, we're on the studio. If you go out on the high street right now, you telling me at this time, like, it's not even late, but at this time, any time, like, you're gonna go out on that high street and find somewhere that's just selling like
veggies,
a veggie or vegan, nice warm dinner or something. Are you gonna find it on this high street where we are right now?
No, you're not. No,
you're gonna find these chicken takeaways, these burger joints. Are you gonna find that on that high street?
110%.
Yes or no?
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I'm saying. It's what's in your face, what's readily available, and price as well.
Yeah, but it's for a reason. I'm sure we could quite easily change those chicken joints to late night vegan joints or vegetarian. Do you know what I mean? It can be done. It's just.
But I think
Go on.
I think that's the psychology of a human being, really. That's going to be a very, very difficult turnaround. I think the turnaround is actually beginning, if I'm honest.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's the fact that we're sitting there.
It's definitely begun.
having this
I
conversation.
think it's very difficult because I was reading like on the subject of meats and stuff like that. I forget what subject, or I forget where it was in the book, but they were talking about salt. So once the introduction of salt was brought in, then people understood that actually you can preserve this. You can preserve meat. So we've gone from like having a low sodium diet to like stuffing salt is in everything, in absolutely everything. So like, we were discussing normal. I don't know what the normal. I forget what we're talking about in terms of normal, but what normal once upon a time is ridiculous now. You know what I mean? So it's very difficult, you know.
But you're right. It has begun in terms of the change around. Even I'm gonna plug a restaurant here, and they better like this. So a friend of mine, I went for lunch with a friend of mine. She said, let's go to this place. Yeah, it's called Mildred's. In King's Cross. Yeah. I said, what's on the menu? She goes, quickly check. Yeah. So I checked what's on the menu and that. I was like, this ain't gonna fill me up for lunch. Like, I'm looking at the menu, and my friend, I can't remember, she's either vegetarian or vegan. I think she's vegan, or she healthy eats. She doesn't eat meat. I know that. So I said, all right, cool, we'll check it out. I think it was her birthday that week. I said, all right, cool, you choose whatever. So I've looked at the menu now. I've seen all these things. I'm like, boy, tofu salad and roasted corn cake, and I'm like, what is this? And then I seen beetroot burger. She was like, get the beetroot burger. I said, beetroot burger? You right? She was, get the beetroot burger. Boys, no word of a lie, it's the best burger I've ever tasted in my life. Swear down, hands down, it was that good. It was that good.
Yeah, that's a big statement.
That good. And when I went, I said, okay, we're onto something now. I can do this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, proper.
Sorry, can I just add? I mean, I'm not that. I'm sure. Well, not I'm sure. I know vegan food and vegetarian food has always been very nice, but I think we've been with some of the additives.
It's like we've been trained that you're supposed to have meat or a poultry or a fish, or do you know what I'm saying?
100%. But with like the salts and the sugars that's been introduced, like anything, I don't want to say bland, but I was gonna say a banana, but like call it beetroot, for example, because I didn't like beetroot before, and there's one or two other veggies that I've never really liked, that I've grown to like as such. But because of salts being added and sugar being added to our diet, by having those things taste bland, so we don't really have an interest in them. It's like actually eating corn. Some people eat corn with butter, that, and
I used to. I've stopped that now. I can eat corn without butter now.
But it's funny though, because like once upon a time,
you talking about like corn or corn, like corn. C or QU.
No, corn.
Sweet corn.
Corn.
But like, why did we ever need to add butter or this and that and the third? Because we thought it was bland, or we could add taste to it.
I mean, speaking on like going on to dishes and stuff, people who once ate vegetarian diets but then started to eat meat at least once a week experienced a 146% increase in odds of heart disease, 152% increase in strokes, 166% increase in diabetes, and a 231% increase in odds for weight gain. During 12 years after the transition from vegetarian to omnivore, meat eating was associated with a 3.5-year decrease in life expectancy. Mad. But this is a note from the actual author. In this book, I don't advocate for a vegetarian diet or a vegan diet. I advocate for an evidence-based diet, and the best available balance of science suggests that the more whole plant foods we eat, the better, both to reap the nutritional benefits and to displace less helpful options.
Okay.
Is categorizing our diets beneficial or detrimental to our lifestyle?
What do you mean by when you say categorizing?
So, like saying, this is healthy. This is the healthy option. This is not the healthy option. Instead of, is it be better just to kind of have no option? Not to say no option, but not put it into different boxes.
Depends. I think, as the author said, if he doesn't advocate for, he doesn't put names or throw names out, say this is healthy. What he says is this is what I've done. I've done my research. Evidence suggests this. So it's up to you what you want to do. Because I'm with you. Like I don't eat a lot of meat anymore, but I do still eat the odd meat. I like my seafood, I'm not gonna lie.
Definitely.
But at the same time, I definitely have introduced a lot more veg, and as evidence puts, I'm happy to go to if someone wants to catch up. We check out a vegan restaurant, not a problem. So I don't think it's about categorize that. I think it's more right. Just as long as you know the food you're eating will do this to you over a number of years or a period of time. Yes. And if you're happy with that, if you're happy with the consequence of that, not happy, but if you're willing to accept those consequences, or when you start having heart problems or breathing problems, you've only got yourself to blame, because I'm giving you the evidence in this book. Where what you choose to do, the research, what you choose to do with that is up to you. But I've gone out and done a ton of research. I put in a book for, I don't know, £8, £9, £10 for you to digest. Take it on board. Do with it what you wish. That's how I see it, innit?
Yeah, no. So I think just from reading the first chapter, I'm a lot more aware of certain things that I wasn't obviously aware of before. So as you said, like, I don't eat as much meat as I used to at all. Since October, I've changed. Basically, for October, I did the no meat for the whole month, and since then I've not really gone back.
How was it? How did you find it? Would you say it was easy? Did you even notice?
And
what was you substituting your meat with?
Veg.
Just more veg.
Veg, like chickpeas and beans and stuff like that. So it was quite filling. So it wasn't like I was hungry after a meal. It was just because I'm used to having the meat. Initially, it was a bit like, okay, this is strange. But because I'd taken myself out and said, all right, I'm going to take this month out to generally not eat meat, I did find it easy. So nowadays, I don't have a problem with having a plate full of food and no meat on it. But moving on slightly.
Sorry, so just very, very quickly, I just think like people need choice. And I think that's the reason why we kind of categorize things. But at the same time, I do agree with what Mason said and obviously what you said, really. I think but I think I'm comfortable with things being like not messy, but like there's no real choice. But I think just as people like, I'm here, and I'm here kind of thing.
And that's the thing.
And where are you? Where do you fit in?
I'm not. And it was funny because I had a discussion with a mate of mine, Adam Eats, about the different diets that we have, and he was mentioning about going with the whole flexitarian thing, and I hadn't heard about flexitarian thing. Then we've read it. Then I read it and reading through the chapter. They've actually mentioned flexitarian, and I was like, that sounds just like me. Do you know what I mean? I could do that.
Like
that. I mean?
The name.
Yeah. So I think that's definitely, for me right now, that's where I stand. I'll probably say I'm more of a flexitarian than anything.
Okay.
But I think that's a really.
How did they define flexitarian?
That's another silly name. But go on.
No, I like the name. Don't tell you it's silly.
Silly name.
It's not silly, boy.
Everyone's a flexitarian.
It's like when Gwyneth Paltrow said, "I'm consciously uncoupling." I like that too. Someone tell me something. With the flexitarian, they're saying like that you have your like.
You might have meat once or twice a week, whether that's meat or fish. You might have that once or twice a week, and the rest of your diet mainly consists of eating vegetarian. So that's more or less the space I'm in at the moment. But just before we get into the first chapter, part 1, just to let everyone know how this book is how it's done. This book is divided into 2 parts, the why and the how. So what we're going to do for these first couple episodes is the why. For example, we'll see in part 1 why beans and greens are among the healthiest foods on the earth. Then in part 2, we'll take a look at how best to eat them. So this part that we're doing now is going to be the why, sorry.
Excellent. Let me just plug us. So for those that have just joined in, you've just got to your mates and they're listening to us. I don't know, you've clicked on the link on SoundCloud or on the iTunes, and for some reason you started here, you're listening to Fully Booked Podcast. That's full_e_booked on the Instagram. We're on the SoundCloud, we're on the Twitter, we're on the Facebook, we're on the what do you call it, iTunes. That podcast, check us out, subscribe. We're reading the book How Not to Die. So we're on season 2. We're reading the book How Not to Die by Michael Grigor and Gene Stone. Read with us or listen to the podcast and follow us. And it's season 2, part 1, recovering.
Yeah, cool. I mean, this whole book it's not a typical book in terms of you can just read it. It's very factual. There's a lot of facts. So instead of instead of constantly asking questions, I will be throwing out quite a few facts or results from studies and a couple did you know kind of things.
Okay. Yeah,
if at any point you want to chime in, then just let me know, because I will be just going listing through them for ones that people that want to kind of go directly. If you've got someone in your family that's suffering from heart disease or lung disease, you may just want to read those sections, because to read the book from back to back is quite intense. So getting into chapter 1, how not to die from heart disease. On page 19 it mentions, imagine if terrorists created a bioagent that spread mercilessly, claimed the lives of nearly 400,000 Americans per year. That is the equivalent of one person every 83 seconds, every hour, and around the clock, year after year. Does anyone, as I just mentioned, know anyone that's been affected by heart disease at all?
No, I don't think so. No, no.
It doesn't really in my family. We're quite fortunate. It doesn't really run in my family.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Not same. I don't really know anyone that comes to mind.
It's quite funny though, actually, because like obviously I know in the chapter of heart disease it kind of like touches on, dare I say, maybe typical diets of, dare I say, those from China and then those of Africa, and then it compares it to those obviously of the Western world and the US. And I think the comparison was that those in China and Africa generally had a low rate of heart disease in comparison to those obviously of a westernized diet obviously in the US. So obviously, dare I say, US or even wherever it's of the UK as well. So it doesn't particularly surprise me that you haven't had any cases of heart disease obviously in your family. I haven't asked you, but
no, I haven't.
See, that's the case with yourself.
And me too as well. That heritage that we're from.
Yeah. Because
I mean, I was going to touch on that next in regards to the different diets in different parts of the world, and the fact that heart disease is, I think it's the top of the list of the major killers in the world. Like, most people die from heart disease. On page 121, it mentioned the doctors compared autopsies from Ugandans to autopsies of Americans who had died at the same age, and the researchers found out that 632 people autopsied in St. Louis, Missouri, there had been 136 heart attacks, but in 632 aged Ugandans, a single heart attack.
Not one, or just one?
Just one single heart attack out of the 632. So with that being said, as a country that's so heavily influenced by American culture, do you think we, as in the UK, should wait, or are we waiting before we change our day-to-day eating habits?
Do we wait, did you say?
I said, do we, or should we wait, or do we wait?
I think.
Or are we waiting?
I think people wait until they find out news, which kind of brings up the. It's almost like going back to the topic, obviously, what Mason was talking about in terms of the doctor and stuff like that. I mean, where this kind of resonated with me when I was reading the book is, as I mentioned before, because I've had braces in the past, I'm very aware that you need to go to the dentist every 3 months, etc., or 6 months, depending obviously what your dentist recommends. So when the example of teeth and plaque build-up and stuff like that came in, and how that it kind of I think they drew a comparison obviously with your veins and your arteries in terms of the food that you eat and the cholesterol. It builds up in your veins and your arteries, and then potentially just provides almost like a blockage with blood and stuff like that flowing to obviously your major organs. And then it kind of resonated and made me think, you know what? If I have to go to the dentist every 3 months or 6 months to avoid this, then I should put things in place in regards to stopping this and then stopping that. And then that's when it kind of like I don't want to say resonate because I've said that like 3-4 times, but I took a bit more stock.
Yeah.
I think, do you know what? We're creatures of habit.
Yeah. And
that stems from generation above to generation above.
Yeah.
Like my grandma, sorry, it's getting a bit personal now, but my grandma and my granddad originally from Jamaica. Jamaicans, you eat certain foods, like in saltfish. Grandma made patties and that. Yeah. My mum makes patties, I eat patties. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we're creatures of habit, and I think you will get the small percentage of people who, with the research, who've changed their diets, who when they get to a certain age, are like, actually, like, and I wonder what it is that makes people change. Is it someone dying or falling ill from certain disease which could have been caused because of their diet, and that makes, you know what I'm saying, their next generation change?
But sorry to cut you, but I was more saying about, because as you know, we follow an American culture quite a lot, whether it's in fashion or in terms of what we eat. So like all the burger joints and everything, they come from America originally, and like the coffee shops that's now booming over here, that's an American thing. So my point was, are we gonna wait for America to start changing, or have we started following their case in terms of their eating diets? Because they're kind of, obviously this is an American person that's written the book as well. They're getting very much into plant-based and veggie. You know what I mean? The tide's turning over there. So are we then doing the same on the back of that? Or that's what I was saying. Do you think we should be waiting, or are we doing it already?
As a whole,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to think. Do I see advertisements on TV promoting a healthier?
You're not going to see that. I can tell you that now.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
But you're not going to see that here, and I don't think you're going to see it there. But I think, I don't want to say there's an undercurrent.
But I think you'll see it more in America.
No, I believe there is a culture because there's a lot of personal trainers, and with like exercise and diet, LA is very it's prevalent.
Yeah, I think you just about to touch on something undercurrent. If you go on certain like social media platforms, people there's a lot of people who are now following this kind of healthy living or healthy eating or plant-based diet. There's people that I went to school with that I'll see now and again, and whether they're doing this personal fitness thing or they're getting trained, they're very much, you shouldn't eat this type of salmon, and you should, you know what I'm saying? People are becoming a lot more knowledgeable. Do you know what I'm saying? Even the other day, my mother, for the first time ever, so she's used to making rice and peas, whatever. She made brown rice to go with like, obviously still eating like chicken and that, but she made brown rice. I was like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Where's that come from?
She just tried the thing, innit? Yeah. I think so. Even older generation becoming aware. So I think the tide is changing. But in terms of the whole scale thing, you're still going to see your Burger King adverts on the TV. You're not
that's not going to change anytime soon. Still. Yeah. But I think we're on the right path, right direction. Moving on slightly. On page 21, it mentions the extraordinarily low rates of heart disease in rural China and Africa, and have been attributed to the extraordinarily low cholesterol levels among these populations. They are both centered on plant-derived foods such as grains and veg. So, given a choice, what foods would you prefer a plate of? Grains and veg, or herbs and spices and meat, and why?
At this moment in time, boy, I was gonna say greens, all right, and then I've had trouble recently because for the past 6 months I've not had any meat, any fish, any chicken, all that type of stuff. And I've kind of moved a little bit away from. Well, I've always moved away from the dairy. I've done that for about a good year, 2 years as such. But sometimes. Yeah, I know them M&Ms have got dairy in it. What I'm saying away is I've tried to stay away. I've been eating cheese recently as well, but these are things that I know I'm going to cut out. So I'm very aware of the options that I now have available. But sometimes I'm on social media and I may see a lovely, I don't even want to say what type of meat it may be because it may tempt me. And I'm staring at it for a good couple minutes. I'm not even lying. I'm staring at it for a good couple minutes. And I'll scroll and say, this is a devil acting up, boy. And I just scroll away kind of thing. So I personally see myself actually moving definitely to becoming, well, certainly vegetarian, because that I would say I am now, but I can definitely see me moving vegan. And I can almost potentially see me going the whole 9 yards, honestly. Whether that will happen or not, obviously we'll wait to see. But yes, but at this moment in time, I'm going to say I prefer a plate full of greens. I mean, I've been very, very surprised with some of the stuff that I've ate and thought, Jesus Christ, this is delicious. Had I known of this before, and had I known, or if I knew how to make this type of stuff, then I would easily I would easily choose this option a little bit more. You know what? That's another thing. People don't know how. So that's also another problem. I know you mentioned before programming, routine and stuff like that. But they're my thoughts anyway.
Okay, what about you, Mitch?
I plead the flexitarian.
I dropped that.
I plead the flexitarian. Alright, so I eat a lot of white meat. Maybe chicken. And I love seafood. I don't actually eat red meat when I'm at home. I'll eat it, but I do if I go out to like a restaurant or something like that. Alright, so I went to a Peruvian spot the other day. And they had like certain types of like red meats on the diet. And obviously you're in a spot, you're gonna try the type of dish. This is typical ceviche, whatever they call it. So alright, cool, I'll go for it. But at home, I won't pick up a steak from the supermarket or anything like that and cook. I haven't eaten pork for years. So Red meat anyway is kind of out the door, but I do eat chicken.
Yeah.
I do eat seafood. So I plead the flexitarian. I'm not gonna stand there in front. So in terms of what would I prefer, I'll take or leave both of those options. So you gave me an option of meat and something, and like grains and kind of.
So
stuff.
grains and veg, or herbs with spices
and meat.
Yeah,
I'm in between the two.
Yeah.
Well, I know you don't eat meat.
I don't really eat. I'm not gonna say I completely cut it out because the other day I had a craving for some meat and I had it, and I didn't feel guilty about it because I haven't put that myself in a box to say, well, I can't eat meat now. I'm never gonna eat meat. Like, I'm aware of, especially reading the book, of what it can do, but I don't eat it every day. I don't eat it every week. My fish content, like I eat a lot of fish more time now because, as I said, when I've done that eat no meat, that included fish as well during that first month. So I literally was eating as a vegetarian, not a vegan, a vegetarian, because I still having dairy. So now, yeah, I'll probably be in the middle, to be honest with you, as a flexitarian, so to speak.
When you had that meat dish the other day, did you notice did you feel bloated? Did you feel a certain way after eating it at all?
I know I won't be eating it again.
Wow.
No,
it's
not even that. No, it wasn't even that. It wasn't cooked. No, it was fine. It cooked fine. It's like I've had my fill. I'm good now. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't.
This might sound a bit personal. How was your stool?
Do you know what? My stool's actually, since giving up meat, they've been good. You know.
What about after the meat dish?
After the meat, I didn't really make.
That's still in your body.
Yeah, I didn't even clock it like that. So I can't say it was a major difference, but I can definitely tell you, since not eating as much meat, I was having a bit of problems with my stomach. They've now been alleviated. Not fully, I'm not going to say I'm totally fine, but in terms of like little things like bloating, I'm not bloating as much as I was before. So it's definitely beneficial. I can hands on heart say me dropping out, because I was a meathead as well, do you know what I mean? I used to eat meat with everything. Like I used to have steak and eggs after gym for breakfast, you know what I mean? Like that's, do you know what I'm saying? But when you're going gym, that is a gym meal. You know what I mean? That's standard in the gym world. Steak and eggs, like, you know what I'm saying?
Do you know what? One thing when I do, I might have mentioned this before, maybe not on air, but one thing I'm really fussy about is if I have a steak and the quality of the meat. Actually, I haven't mentioned it on air before. And one thing, if I'm eating a steak, I remember I went for a Christmas meal after Christmas with some friends for a catch up, and we got like steaks and stuff. I was eating a steak and it was so tough and chewy. I thought, am I really giving this to my body? So my teeth, the strength of my teeth compared to my poor organs inside, I'm chewing it down to a manageable point where it can digest through my esophagus. Yeah. That's all I'm doing with my teeth, and I'm struggling. So I'm expecting my body to try and, tear this to shreds and, take
give it to the rest of your body.
Take out, the good stuff and then subside the bad stuff. Yeah. I felt so. I thought, you know what? Is this worth it in the long run? By the time this comes up my system, it would have started to rot and all sorts. My poor and I thought, nah, that's one thing with steak. Because I know with like red meat especially, it's a lot longer to pass through your system. Yeah. If you eat something tough like that, that thing ain't gonna start rotting up your body.
Yeah, that's why you gotta have that more or less blue, because it's not so tough.
Boy.
But yeah, I'll stay away from that for now. To be honest with you. Moving on slightly, I don't know if you guys saw it, but in the book there's little snippets of like sideline issues, not issues, but for example, page 22 is fish oil just snake oil, so it's talking about supplements.
Okay.
I'm not going to go into that because you should have read it.
We have.
I was going to ask you, have you taken a supplement that is the in thing? Like we get different like of most recently, I guess coconut oil is like the newest thing. Before that it was something else, and before that it was something else. I'm trying to think. Aloe vera. I think that was at one point the booming thing to get. So have there been any supplements that you've had that was the in thing?
Yeah. Was it back in cod liver tablets or something?
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been to been to them health stores. Not Holland and Barrett. We call that one the green sign. Is it Holland? Yeah, it's Holland and Barrett.
Holland and Barrett.
Yeah, I've done all that, and it's just each to their own. Obviously, I'm sure there's some benefits. But someone said to me, those are just placebos, and I was like,
I remember there was one time you were taking something. He's like, it really does help. It was
spirulina tablet.
That was it. He was like, no, it really does help.
I remember I took 2 1 week before football and I played like I was Ronaldo.
Nah, leave it. Nah.
Sorry, guys. Something just happened in the studio that was really funny. But to me, and you know what? You might touch on this later, but the book goes on to mention that. Sorry to all you pill poppers out there, but the book goes on to mention later on that actually a lot of this you're not going to get the nutrients as if you kind of had the raw product. So I'm going to stop with these tablets anyway and these pills because I don't really feel any different if I'm being honest.
What about you, P?
Sorry, I was going to touch on something you mentioned in regards to tablets when you said that. So the question was...
have you taken a supplement? That
is
cool. The in thing? No,
I mean, it's funny. Obviously, the reason why I mentioned Mason and the tablet is I'll take one and I'm like, why am I wasting my time? I don't go searching for... I'm not really one of those individuals. I just don't know. Maybe it's because I just don't go searching for the in thing. So I might have it once, and then I'll never ever repeat going to buy that tablet or what have you again. It'd be a case of me trying to include something that has that nutrient in my diet. If that makes any sense. So long ago, I was a big smoothie head. But I've done smoothies for like 2 years on the job. But over the past 6
months, dude.
Smoothie head, man. I'm a smoothie head, man.
Smoothie head.
Alright, you got me there. But over the past 2-3 months, I just haven't had one. Not because I'm not having any more. I just haven't really gone out to really go grab this and the third. That's something I was going to say. Like in regards to like tablets and that, I know also we're talking about heart disease. I know there was a tablet that they mentioned called, I think it was Lipitor. I don't know if anyone took it down as such. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, on the topic of like drugs and stuff like that, they were saying that it was probably. Let me see. What did they say? It was the cholesterol lowering drug has become the best-selling drug of all time, and obviously I don't know if this was tongue-in-cheek, but calls to add Lipitor to the water supply like fluoride. That kind of threw me off because people forget fluoride and all that is in your tap water and all that type of stuff. But that's madness in itself anyway, alright? But I mean, the fact that whether it was tongue-in-cheek or not to add that to obviously the water supply to kind of like maybe bring down people's cholesterol and stuff like that, I thought that was crazy in itself.
Boy, they put a lot of things into our foods and drinks that we don't know about. We're going to find out about a bit more in the book.
Of course.
Guys, we're reading How Not to Die by Michael Greger and Gene Stone. It's fully booked. The podcast, season 2. Stay tuned in. We're currently going through part 1 of the book.
On page 24, I believe it is, yes. It mentions the 3 boosters of bad cholesterol, the number 1 risk factor for the number 1 killer being heart disease, all stem from eating animal products and processed junk. This likely explains why populations living on traditional diets revolving around whole plant foods have largely remained free from the epidemic of heart disease. On another page, moving on, it mentions that heart disease is reversible, and I think that's a good mention for anyone that's possibly in that predicament now. Do you know what I mean? So it gives them some kind of light at the end of the tunnel.
Mention how?
It goes on to talk about eating plant-based food, basically whole grain. It goes into a lot more detail what's more beneficial for anyone that's maybe suffering from heart disease. But me personally, I didn't want to delve into every single food and type because there is quite a lot to go through. So if it is something that you find personal to you, it would be a good suggestion to get hold of the book and read through that.
I took one little note on that. I think it said medicine doesn't treat the underlying cause, which I thought was very interesting. The cause is food, etc. we consume. The body heals itself. I'll let that sink in.
No.
Sunken place.
Did you know a single fast food meal, sausage and egg McMuffin, were used in the original study, can stiffen your arteries within hours, cutting in half their ability to relax normally. If you didn't know that, now you know. Certain foods, such as meats, appear to harbour bacteria that can trigger inflammation. This is on page 28, by the way. Can trigger inflammation, dead or alive. Even when the food is fully cooked, endotoxins are not destroyed by cooking temperatures, stomach acid or digestive enzymes. So after a meal of animal products, these endotoxins may end up in your intestines. It goes on, again, because a few of these chapters, it's almost done in the exact same format. So as I was reading through it, I felt like this could be almost put into pamphlets. So if you had someone in your family that's struggling from lung disease or heart disease, you can just pick up this particular pamphlet and it's set out in the exact same way. So I'm not going to delve into every single form of each one, because the next part I was going to mention is following the money, but I think there's a bit more significance in other chapters, so we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah.
So moving on to chapter 2, how not to die from lung diseases. On page 35, America's number 2 killer, lung disease, claims the lives of about 300,000 people per year. And like number one is preventable. Lung disease can come in many forms, but the 3 types that kill most people are lung cancer, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and asthma. Lung cancer is our number 1 cancer killer. Most of the 160,000 lung cancer deaths every year are the direct results of smoking. However, a healthy diet may help mitigate the DNA, damaging the effects of tobacco smoke, as well as perhaps helping prevent lung cancer from spreading. Now, asthma, which claims 3,000 lives each year, is one of the most common chronic diseases among children, yet it may be largely preventable with a healthier diet. Research suggests a few extra daily servings of fruit and veg can reduce both the numbers of cases of asthma during childhood and the number of asthma attacks among people with the disease. Does anyone here have asthma by any chance?
No, but I've always found that interesting. The reason why I say that, obviously reading the book, my brother had eczema, like really bad, and he had really bad eczema, and he had asthma, and then obviously that's no more. Yeah, there's no eczema, doesn't need to put any cream on. This is like many moons. He's got I thought it was one of the smiley faces. There was a joke coming. Oh, there is. You know him too well. Alright, so doesn't...
They're not around anymore. How did it go?
I don't know, but I mean, I'm assuming that must have come from diet and stuff like that. Obviously, the things that he was eating. That
Can you think of anything
specific? Yeah. Unfortunately, no. I can't really think of anything specific. No. So I can't think of anything specific. But I mean, has no problems with asthma. Never seen him have to use his asthma pump. Yeah. And in regards to eczema, he's had no issue with skin either. Like clear, there's no eczema whatsoever. So it kind of makes me think that maybe down to diet you can actually remove or improve your health.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's going with. Moving on to lung cancer, on page 36. Those warning labels and cigarette packs are everywhere now, but for a long time the link between smoking and lung cancer was suppressed by powerful interest groups, as much as the relationship between certain foods and other leading killers is suppressed today. On page 37, it talks about loading up on broccoli and the benefits of eating broccoli can help with such things as lung cancer. And it said compared to broccoli avoiding smokers, the broccoli eating smokers suffered 41% fewer DNA mutations in their bloodstream over 10 days. So if you do smoke and have lung cancer, get your broccoli on, basically.
I'm on a broccoli diet.
Carcinogens, the blocking effects of turmeric. I didn't go into that, but again, spices are very important and they have a lot of healthy benefits, definitely.
I think turmeric, I remember reading this actually, I think turmeric has some kind of ingredient in it which, what does it do? There's something in turmeric and there was another one as well.
I've got one down. I've noticed something down. The Indian spice turmeric, which gives curry powder its characteristic golden colour, may also help prevent some of the DNA damage caused by smoking.
Okay.
And mentioning smoking, the dietary second-hand smoke. Though the majority of lung cancer is attributed to smoking, approximately a quarter of all cases occur in people who have never smoked. Although some of these cases are due to second-hand smoke, although contributing cause may be another potentially carcinogenic fumes from frying. I think we spoke about that briefly as well. If you do fry it at home, good ventilation in the kitchen may reduce lung cancer risk. And a study in women in China found that smokers who stir-fried meat every day had nearly 3 times the odds of lung cancer compared to smokers who stir-fried foods other than meat on a daily basis.
It's the image of someone stir-frying foods with a cigarette in their mouth. Cigarette. Hold on, I'm tough.
The researchers discovered that not only was ingestion of grilled meat in the 3rd trimester associated with smaller birth weights, mothers merely exposed to the fumes tended to give birth to babies with a birth weight deficit. Now, air pollution, as I said, I'm just going to be throwing out general facts at this point because I don't really have anything specific to ask. So if there's anything that you guys takes warrant to or want to chime in, please do. Air pollution studies suggest prenatal exposure to polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons may then translate into adverse effects of children's future cognitive development as manifested by a significantly lower IQ. On page 32 it mentions, although all meat may release potentially carcinogenic fumes, processed meat like bacon may be the worst. AUC Davis study found that bacon fumes can cause about 4 times more DNA mutations than the fumes from beef burgers fried at similar temperatures. If you do not need to be around frying bacon or eggs, it should be barbecued. Studies show that the number of particles deposited in the lungs increased by a factor of 10 when frying inside versus outside. Did you guys read anything about the chronic obstructive pulmonary disease? It's a condition that makes it difficult to breathe, basically. If you didn't, then it's fine, we'll just kind of move on. But I think that was a bit of a significant condition. No?
Oh no, I can't actually recall it, but I mean,
yeah, no.
Well, I was going to say it doesn't really surprise me that the frying of meats did increase any possibility of, whereas asthma or any type of lung disease, in that obviously the things that are, dare I say, in those animals as such, and then the fact that we're frying them as well, I think, and then inhaling.
Yeah.
I don't want to call them those fumes, but inhaling those fumes, it doesn't surprise me if it kind of leads to any type of like asthmatic or any type of lung disease.
Cool. Food of animal origin have been associated with increased asthma risk. A study of more than 100,000 adults in India found that those who consume meat daily or even occasionally were significantly more likely to suffer from asthma than those who excluded meat and eggs from their diets. The mechanism by which diet affects airway inflammation may lie with the thin coating of fluid that forms the interface between your respiratory tract lining and the outside air. Using the antioxidants obtained from the fruits and vegetables you eat, this fluid acts as your first line of defense against free radicals that contribute to asthmatic hypersensitivity, contraction and mucus production. So if asthmatics eat less fruit and veg, does their lung function decline? Now that's a question that was posed in the book, so I wasn't expecting you guys.
Man didn't go medical school.
I wasn't expecting you to ask that, but it does. If you was thinking in regards to asthma, it does conclude that researchers from Australia tried to remove fruit and veg from asthma patients' diets to see what would happen, and within 2 weeks, asthma symptoms grew significantly worse. And in reverse, this simple act of adding a few more fruits and veg to their daily diet ended up successfully cutting the study subjects' exuberation rate in half. That's the power of eating healthily.
Noted.
No, I mean, that was surprising really, because I think I think in reading this book, in reading the book, I know it talks about fruit and veggies having obviously a lot of antioxidants and anti-inflammatories. So I'm not surprised. I mean, that eating fruit and veg naturally would improve your health, whether it's to your lungs, to your heart, or what have you. So I mean, I can see that. You know what I mean?